Hey guys, in this video I'm gonna show you how to build your entire page starting from scratch until we're gonna deploy it to production so that everyone could see. In this project we're gonna use MDB Go in order to initialize our project as well as publish it to the web. If you don't have it, navigate to mdbgo.com, click on Get Started, and then follow the instruction over here. The first of the prerequisite is to create a free account, which will allow you to log into MDB CLI. So if you don't have it, just hit sign up and then register your account. Once you have account, we have to make sure that you have Node.js installed. So in order to check whether you have Node.js installed, simply click on Start and open command line if you are using Windows like myself. Or if you are using other operating systems, you search for something like terminal, which you're going to find both of Unix and Mac OS. Now, once you have it open, type node -v. If you can see version over here, that means that you have Node installed. If you will see something like this, Node is not recognized as an internal external command. I used as here because I already have Node, so I had to use some other name to show you what you can expect when you try to run a program which is not installed. So if you see error like this, that Node is not recognized as internal or external command, then navigate to Node.js, go to the download section and download installer for your operating system. Once you finish installation, close your command line, reopen it again and type node -v. You should see the current version installed. Once you have it, let's install MDB CLI. So copy the command line or type it if you will, and then hit enter. This will install MDB CLI on your computer. Wait until installation is completed. And now we can start using MDB CLI. Let's navigate to destination of our choice and use command mdb login in order to log in to our CLI. Provide your username and password, which you set up early during the registration. Once you logged in, type mdb init and search for Tailwind Elements starter. This will initialize project for you. Now, when you navigate to the folder of your choice, you can see that the project has been created. Now, let's open this in Visual Studio Code or editor of your choice. If you don't have Visual Studio Code, you can download it for free. Simply search for Visual Studio Code, navigate and download the one matching your operating system and then install it. Now you can see our project in Visual Studio Code. Now let's navigate into the folder location and type npm install to install all the dependencies. By the way, you can also use command line, which is built inside Visual Studio Code. Just hit new terminal. It will work exactly the same as the one which we have in separate window. Once installation is done, we can start our project. I'm going to close this terminal and use internal one. Simply type npm start, which will start our project in new window. So this is our starting page. Now let's reorganize our windows here. And let's navigate to Tailwind Elements website to start building our page. First, we're going to need navbar. So let's search for navbar. And let's copy basic example. So hit show code and copy HTML here. Now let's remove everything between start your project here and let's paste inside our navbar. So we're gonna see only new navbar. You can see a dark mode because my system is using dark mode by default. You can disable that by removing class dark from our HTML element, which you can see over here. Let's get rid of this for the sake of this tutorial. so you can see the default colors of our components. Now, once we have our navbar, we can see it doesn't work as expected. And this is because we have to also use our JS code for it. So let's go to JavaScript. Let's copy this and let's search for source.js index.js file and paste it over here. Now we can see that our navbar is working because component was initialized according to the documentation. Keep in mind that depending on how you use Tailwind Elements, some of the ways require initialization. These are the ones which are optimized for the production because they will use only the JS which is required, whereas some others, like for example CDN or Starter, which you could see in our other videos, they will work out of the box. However, you need to keep in mind that they will include all JavaScript for all the components, even though you don't use them in your project. So you should choose your method carefully and accordingly to your project. If you are just prototyping, probably the easiest way will be go to the CDN or NPM or zip starter. However, if you want to optimize your build for production, you should go with Vite or MDB Go starter. Okay, let's add next element. So let's search for jumbotrons, where you're gonna find different jumbotron options, or you can also use predefined headers, which are in header section. So we're gonna use this one. Let's copy code and let's paste it just down below our navbar. Let's see how it looks like. Now let's also do the same for JavaScript. As you can see, collapse and init TE is already there. So the only thing which is missing is actually ripple. So let's just move it from here to the import which we already have. Let's get rid of this one and then let's move ripple over here and remove that one. So now we have all elements included, and as we can see, we have this nice ripple effect over here. Now you may notice that we have two navbars over here, which obviously we don't need. This is because our example consists of navbar and heading. So what we have to actually do, we have to remove the unnecessary navigation bar, which is here. So we don't need this one. And we can also move this header just above the navbar, which we already have. So our structure is like this. We have our body. Oh, autocomplete added me extra one, which we don't need. So now we have our body, header. Inside header, we have our navbar and then our hero section. Now let's work on our hero section to change its look a little bit. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna add a bit of gradient and text over here. So we're gonna change background color by changing these classes, both for background as well as our text color. So let's add the following classes. BG gradient to R from teal 500 to cyan 600. This gives us a nice effect of gradient going from one color to the other color. You can learn more about gradients in our other videos as well as documentation. Keep in mind that you can also define different gradients for a dark mode page. So, for example, we can say from neutral 700 dark to neutral 800. And this will work like this if we add dark class again, so we can see a slight gradient from grayish to something almost black. Okay, now let's change a color of our text a little bit. So let's change text from neutral to just white. Okay, it's looking better. And now we can add some text here. Learning Tailwind Elements is easy. And let's add some paragraph here with a couple of classes, which we're gonna explain in following tutorials. So now you can just copy them and type exactly what you can see on the screen. And then just use some text over here. Great, so we have our heading now. Let's move to the next section where we're gonna add some cards. So cards are great components to show content. You can find many examples in the documentation. But before we're gonna use that, let's first add some grid. So if you wanna learn more about grid, you can check our tutorial, which is available for you in tutorial section. And if you navigate to grid system, you can learn everything about grid system from Tailwind Element. For now, I'm gonna use predefined example, which is available for you in one of the lessons over here, named Create Website. So let's just navigate here and copy this simple example, which is a basic grid with 3 columns, where each of the column has a different color, as you can see here. And thanks to the classes, which you can see here, even though you might not understand what they are doing, just for your information, you can see that they are making this content responsive. So if you change or if you watch your website on a smaller screen, you can see that the arrangement is changing accordingly. Now, once we have our grid ready, let's jump back to documentation and let's search for a card with the ripple effect. And let's use this one. So I'm going to replace content of each column with card from a given example. And as you can see, we have these cards over here. We are missing some spacing over there. So let's basically add my, let's say 10, which will give us some margin in the Y direction. And now let me quickly change the content of the cards a little bit just to make it look better. Obviously, you can adjust it by yourself, adding pictures of your choice. By the way, as you can see, the ripple effect is already there because we initialized it before for our button. So I have predefined cards for you over here. And now let's move to the final step, which is our footer. So navigate to footer docs and grab the example, which we can see over here. Later on, you can adjust it to your needs or use other predefined components. So let's paste it. And voila, our page is actually up and running. And as you can see, it's also fully responsive. So it will work on any device regardless of its screen size. Okay, now once we have our project ready, it's time to deploy it to servers so others could see our project. Since we already have MDB installed, let's just press Ctrl+C to stop current task and now type MDB publish. Let's accept default value for NPM. MDB CLI will create a build and deploy it to our server. At the end of the process, you're gonna see your web page URL, which is here. And once you open it, you can realize that your project has been just deployed. It's available online and you can share it with your friends absolutely for free. If you want to learn more, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Thank you for watching and keep coding.